Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we will start with your books, the introduction part, and your books, page 2 and 3. Okay. In this semester, this course, you are going to have 4 units. Each one unit is having a different title. I want you to go to the index. I guess it is on page 1, and you will find the titles. And each unit, we're having each grammar, each functions, and each ones. So the first unit is about, did you hurt yourself? What do you think the topics we're discussing in this one? Hurt. Maybe it is about injuries, about hospitals. The second unit is about, take my advice. The idea of giving and how to respond to advice. This time you should do something, you shouldn't do another thing. The third unit is titled, You've Got Mail. Mail. It is about messaging, mailing, sending letters. And the last, fourth unit is wishful thinking. It's going to be about how to compose a wish. If you wish that something happened or might happen, how can you express this? Okay, so let's get started. For each one of these units, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to follow the same pattern, whether it is unit 1, 2, 3, or unit 4. In each unit, we will start with the first lesson, which is about listen and discuss. You will listen to a certain text, people who are talking. Maybe it is a short text about someone who's a famous person. Then we will discuss it together, asking and responding to questions. Later, we will have pair work. Each two are going to talk about the topic, whether it is about accidents, whether it is about giving advice. Followed by the grammar part. We're going to take some grammatical rules that you can follow so you come up with correctly formed sentences. Then we will go to the language in context. It is the fun part in each unit. What do we do in language in context? Certain vocabulary that you can use. It will enrich your vocabulary so you can use to express better about the topic. Later, we will have the listening. Now you will listen to longer texts, so you will comprehend. It will check your comprehension about the text. You will answer certain questions on these. Followed by, now you have listened, how are you going to say it? The pronunciation part. How are you going to say certain words in this unit? Followed by about you. Now it is your turn to tell us you have used the book, you have enriched your vocabulary, you got more vocab, more grammar. Now I want you to tell me about yourself. Later we'll have a conversation, real talk phrases, and we will listen to certain people talking to each other, and we will listen and answer. Followed by the reading. Now you are much more advanced, you're going to read longer texts, get the meaning and the new vocab. Followed by, now you got the vocab, the grammar, you read and you did everything. Now it is your turn to start composing and writing. Followed by form, meaning and function, revising what we have taken so far, taking extra grammar part, which some of them you have covered in English 1 or previously, and some of them are going to be new. Followed by the last part, which is the project and the self-assessment. You will apply all the knowledge that you have taken into this project to come up with a product, present it, you might show it up to your classmates, and self-assessment, certain questions, checking your understanding about the whole unit. So you will let yourself know the things that you are so good in and the things that you need to practice more. The whole thing, we're going to do it in the four units, unit 1, 2, 3, and 4. We will do this theme, we will follow the same pattern. Okay, now let's start with the introduction part. In the introduction part in your books, it is actually on page 2 and 3. page 2 and 3 in your books. Here we're having certain texts. They are actually how many? We're having 5. And each one, I want you to match each one with the correct picture. Read while you are listening to the text and try to match the picture. Here we're having 4 pictures. We're having the first one. We're having a kind of food, frozen yogurt or ice cream, simulator. Next here we're having a 3D printer, a car, and we're having a frog. You will listen and try just match the text with the suitable picture. Let's listen into here and you will tell me which picture are we talking about.
As you drive along a busy road, you notice a car without a driver. You blink to clear your eyes and wonder whether you're losing your mind. It's the driverless car, a robotic vehicle that can travel to a predetermined destination without human intervention. All you would need to do is sit in the car and enjoy the ride. Would you do it? Would you travel in a driverless car? Is it science fiction or reality?
So which picture are we talking about? The text is about? It is actually about this car, which is a driverless car, an autonomous car. Let's listen to the following, and here you're going to tell again which picture are we talking about. Let's listen.
You are spending the night in the desert. Everyone else is sound asleep, but you are still awake, enjoying the starlit sky. It's a cold but peaceful night. None of the usual city sounds echo in the background. So you snuggle in your sleeping bag and close your eyes. All of a sudden you are startled by a high-pitched sound. Someone or something is whistling. You sit up, look around but don't see anyone. Then you hear the sound again, along with a soft patter of something landing in the sand. What do you think it is? Is it a dream or reality?
So here we are talking actually about a creature which is whistling, which is the whistling frog, a bizarre and an unusual animal. The following, let's listen to this and you will tell which one are we talking about.
They are very real and highly popular in entertainment, but they are also used in education. They are used by many colleges and institutions for educational purposes. Many businesses and industries use them to train their employees and executives. They are used for military strategy and flight training. Astronauts train on them for a long time before they participate in real missions. Can you guess what they are? What is your opinion about them?
So which one are we talking about in here? We're actually talking about this picture, which is called the simulator. What is the simulator? If you can't go, maybe you can't practice driving, you can't practice aviation or driving an airplane. So we're having something that will make you feel as if you were there. Simulators. The following, let's listen.
You walk into a food store to buy some yogurt and cheese. You notice that the packaging is different from what you are used to. It's very attractive with bright wrapping. A customer has just bought some frozen yogurt in a biodegradable bag. He takes out one of the round, pearl-like shapes and bites into it as you're about to warn him not to eat the wrapping. He seems to be enjoying it. He then uses a small spoon to dip into the shell, eat the rest of the contents as well as the wrapper. Is the wrapping edible, or does the customer suffer from a condition that urges him to eat things that would normally be considered inedible? What do you think? Is it science fiction or reality?
So which one are we talking about? We're actually talking about the edible wrappers. Having the food is wrapped with a wrapper that you can eat it wholly. The whole thing, you can eat it. Let's go ahead and listen. Here we're having the last one.
Before the days of the computer-aided design, CAD, and lasers, models and prototypes required days or even weeks of hard work to make and were very costly. Improvements and modifications could not be incorporated easily, often resulting in the loss of business. An 80s idea, called rapid prototyping, led to the development of a type of machine, similar to an inkjet printer, that made it possible for designers to make their own rapid prototypes. The machine uses plastic, instead of ink or powder, and builds up a model one layer at a time from the bottom upward. Do you know what this type of machine is called? Is it science fiction or reality?
So which picture are we talking about? We're actually talking about the idea of 3D printers. Not printing 2D, no, you can see and you can touch the prototype or the object itself. 3D printing. Now, I want you here, you're going to listen one more time to each one of them and match the picture, the listening with the titles. Here we're having 5 titles: 3D printing, the whistling rain frog, simulators, tasty wrappers, and the autonomous car. You will listen and try to match the text with the title. Let's listen.
As you drive along a busy road, you notice a car without a driver. You blink to clear your eyes and wonder whether you're losing your mind. It's the driverless car, a robotic vehicle that can travel to a predetermined destination without human intervention. All you would need to do is sit in the car and enjoy the ride. Would you do it? Would you travel in a driverless car? Is it science fiction or reality?
So what do you think? Which title we're speaking about? We're speaking here actually about the autonomous car. What is autonomous? It depends on nothing. No drivers. Driverless car. No driver. Let's go to the following in here. So I want to ask you here, what do you think of a driverless car? Would you drive it? Would you try it you yourself? For me, I would say, you might say, I wouldn't feel comfortable or safe. Would you? Some people will never feel safe or never feel comfortable if there is no driver. They want a real person to drive. You might say, they claim that autonomous or driverless cars or vehicles will be safer because human errors will no longer be an issue. So there will be less, we will have fewer car accidents. Why? Because there is no human errors. How about you? What do you think? You might say, it's a fact, some countries have already decided to allow them, the autonomous cars, on the road. So it is coming true because in some countries they are legal and you can have your own autonomous driverless car. How about you? What do you think? Do you feel safe in a driverless car? How about in here? We will listen and you will tell which topic we are talking about.
You are spending the night in the desert. Everyone else is sound asleep, but you are still awake, enjoying the starlit sky. It's a cold but peaceful night. None of the usual city sounds echo in the background. So you snuggle in your sleeping bag and close your eyes. All of a sudden you are startled by a high-pitched sound. Someone or something is whistling. You sit up, look around but don't see anyone. Then you hear the sound again, along with a soft patter of something landing in the sand. What do you think it is? Is it a dream or reality?
So which title are we talking about in here? It is actually the whistling rain frog. The whistling rain frog. What do you think about it? Do you think it's frightening? You might say, it couldn't be real. I mean, it wouldn't be possible. It might be anything else, not the rain frog. You might say, I wouldn't feel comfortable or safe if it is around me. You might say, I feel it is an interesting thing to see an animal that whistles. it depends on yourself, not on others. Let's look into here and you will tell which topic or which title is the most suitable.
They are very real and highly popular in entertainment, but they are also used in education. They are used by many colleges and institutions for educational purposes. Many businesses and industries use them to train their employees and executives. They are used for military strategy and flight training. Astronauts train on them for a long time before they participate in real missions. Can you guess what they are? What is your opinion about them?
So, here we're talking about the title. We can give the title, which is simulators. Simulators, as if you are playing a game, however, it is similar to reality. What do you think about simulators? You might say, they are certainly or absolutely useful, but they can't replace the real thing. Can they? I believe we can train on them, however, we can't go on the road just learning from a simulator. We can also say, I think they work to some extent, or they wouldn't be used for pilot training. I trust because pilots, they train on simulators than on real airplanes. If it weren't work for them, it could be a disaster. However, they work. So it is actually a good idea. Let's go ahead and here we will listen and you will tell about the title.
You walk into a food store to buy some yogurt and cheese. You notice that the packaging is different from what you are used to. It's very attractive with bright wrapping. A customer has just bought some frozen yogurt in a biodegradable bag. He takes out one of the round, pearl-like shapes and bites into it as you're about to warn him not to eat the wrapping. He seems to be enjoying it. He then uses a small spoon to dip into the shell, eat the rest of the contents as well as the wrapper. Is the wrapping edible, or does the customer suffer from a condition that urges him to eat things that would normally be considered inedible? What do you think? Is it science fiction or reality?
So, the suitable title here, we can say, The Tasty Wrappers. Could be The Tasty Wrappers. What do you think about eating the wrappers or the cover, the packaging? You might say, I think it's a great idea. If wrappers were edible, we can eat them. There would be less waste and litter. We don't have to throw the packaging, we will just eat it. Maybe other people will say, I can't see myself crunching on a wrapper. Can you? I can't imagine that I will eat the wrapper. It is not a choice for me. Okay, let's listen to the last one and you will tell which topic or which title is the most suitable.
Before the days of the computer-aided design, CAD, and lasers, models and prototypes required days or even weeks of hard work to make and were very costly. Improvements and modifications could not be incorporated easily, often resulting in the loss of business. An 80s idea, called rapid prototyping, led to the development of a type of machine, similar to an inkjet printer, that made it possible for designers to make their own rapid prototypes. The machine uses plastic, instead of ink or powder, and builds up a model one layer at a time from the bottom upward. Do you know what this type of machine is called? Is it science fiction or reality?
So the suitable title in here, you can choose the 3D printing, or yes, the 3D printing. It comes up with a product rather than a picture. What do you think of 3D printing? I will say, so according to this, you can print out any object on a 3D printer. Is this a fact? I believe it is so helpful. And we can also say, I'm not sure how useful this type of thing would be. I can't believe that it is a kind of a helpful thing. How about you? What do you think? Do you think it's helpful? I believe it is absolutely helpful. When we are actually speaking about these inventions, these topics, or these products, we're actually using functions. Why do we use actually the language? For certain functions. We're not speaking without a purpose. The purpose of speaking or saying something is its function. We'll speak about here 3 actually topics or functions. The first one is to express. You will express and tell your own opinion. I think it's helpful, I don't think it's helpful, your point of view. Or the other one, to give reasons. Why do you think it's helpful? Because this and that. So this thing would happen. Or we're having to agree with an idea, to agree with me, or you will say, no, I don't agree, to disagree. So we're having these 3 functions: agreeing, disagreeing, giving your opinion, expressing, and actually the one which is giving a reason, trying to justify your choices. Speaking about the first one, which is the idea of expressing ideas, you can say, I believe that 3D printers are the future of printing. This is what I think. Or you can say, autonomous cars wouldn't feel comfortable or safe. Someone will say, no. Driverless cars are not safe, they are not comfortable. Or you can say, simulators are useful, but they can't replace real things. I believe they are helpful, however, we can't depend on them. We can also here give reasons. I will try to justify why I think it's not safe, maybe. Here I will say, edible wrappers will help save the environment. Why? Because there would be less waste and litter. If we are eating the wrappers or the cover, we're not going to throw things away. I can also say, they claim that autonomous vehicles will be safer because human errors will no longer be an issue. People are not going to be confused between this or that. No human error. We can also say that we're having the same idea. There is no human issue in here or in there. Human error. How about when you are agreeing or disagreeing? We say, yes, that's a good idea. Or no, I don't think so. We can say that I'm not sure how safe, how useful this type of thing would be. I don't think so. I totally disagree. Simulators are useful, but I can't trust drivers who learn driving on simulators. For me, I don't agree that simulators are totally helpful. And you can say, I can't see myself crunching on a wrapper. I disagree with the idea of eating or consuming the wrappers or the packaging. This is how to agree or to disagree. Now we are going to take 1 or 2 of these topics, or let's say these objects that we talked about, and we're going to do the same functions with all of them. Let's express about driverless cars. I believe that driverless cars are helpful. Let me give you a reason. Because with the driverless car, autonomous cars, we don't have any human errors or aggressive drivers. And you can agree or disagree with me. Maybe one of you will say, I totally agree with you. It is going to decrease the number of accidents. I will say, no, I totally disagree. It's not comfortable or not safe to go from one place to the other without a driver. We can also talk about simulators. Let's speak about simulators. My point of view. I think they are helpful. They will give us the chance to try new things. Why? I will give a reason for me, because if I live maybe in one place on earth, I can try anything. Maybe I can try skating if I am living in the desert, or I can try traveling to the moon using a simulator. Maybe you can agree with me. You will say, I totally agree that it's helpful and educational. Another one will say, I totally disagree. To some extent, I disagree that we can depend on pilots who learned how to fly an airplane depending only on a simulator. How about, let's speak about the tasty wrappers or the packaging that I can eat. I guess they are very helpful. Why? Because we will have less waste. We're not going to throw the packaging. It is actually environmentally friendly because we will not have to throw things away, the packaging. Some of you will say, yes, I totally agree. This is a good idea to eat or consume the wrapper or the cover. Another one will say, no, I can't see myself crunching or chewing a cover or a plastic bag. So you can agree or you say, no, I totally disagree. Okay. For your homework, I want you to go through your book, which is this book that we are discussing. From the first until the end, you can go through the index. Check the units. Did you hurt yourself? Take my advice. You've got a mail and wishful thinking. Go over the topics, read them, and go through the book and check it up. Okay? It's all about checking the book up. Okay? I guess that is it for the lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.